polls. But my poll numbers go up or down. They're very variable based upon what comes out of my mouth any particular day. As you know, that is a buffet, everybody, you know? That is a buffet. So because my staff tends to motion sickness, we don't take a look at those all that often. But I told them the one that I care about is the one I talked to you about. 19% of New Jerseyans, when we walked in the door, thought they were moving in the right direction. That a majority of New Jerseyans had not felt good about their state since 2004. And what's happened now in the last 6 public polls in New Jersey? 54% of New Jerseyans now believe we're moving in the right direction. Who you vote for matters. It matters. And so now, when I was U.S. Attorney and I travel around the country, and they say, U.S. Attorney, where are you U.S. Attorney? I'd say New Jersey. You know, I'd hear about 3 things. 3 things all the time, right? The Real Housewives of New Jersey, The Sopranos, and God forbid, the Jersey Shore. Now, I want all of you in New Hampshire to know that Snooki and The Situation are not from New Jersey. They're from New York. They're from New York. They parachute in from New York to New Jersey to the shore to try to make us look bad. I told Governor Cuomo, I'll hire a limo. You can have them back. But now when I travel around the state, because we've done the things that we've done, when I travel around the country now, I don't hear nearly as much about those things. Every once in a while about Snooki, but not nearly as much as I used to. What I hear about now is that New Jersey's the state where they're telling the truth to their citizens, where they're stepping up to the plate to deal with fiscal responsibility, where they don't care about whether an idea is popular, they care about whether it's right. And that we're leading, not just our state, but we're helping to lead the country. So when the people tell you it doesn't matter who you vote for, it doesn't matter who wins, that we're all the same, that's the easy, lazy answer. The right answer is take time to get to know these folks who put themselves forward for office. Look into their eyes, take the measure of their character. Because you never know what issue is going to come across your desk when you're governor. And there's no owner's manual in the center desk drawer. You sit down at that desk, you sit at the head of that conference table, they discuss those tough issues. And you know when you know you're governor? When everybody stops talking and starts looking at you. Okay, what are we doing? That's the moment. That's the moment when you know you're the governor. And at that moment, you need to know what are those person's principles? What's their character? What do they believe in? And what are they willing to fight for? You've watched this man over a career in public life in this state. You know what his principles are. You know his character. You know what he believes in. And you know what he's willing to fight for. He can't give you a guarantee on how every issue is going to go or what's going to come up or how everything's going to be solved. And if he did, he'd just be telling you a story. But what he can tell you is, you know me, you know who I am and what I believe in, and you can trust me. And I will be your governor. On good times and in difficult times, I will lead. When governors are at their best, that's what they do. And that's why they become more than just the governmental leaders in their state when they're at their best. They help to define who the people of their state are to each other and to the rest of the country. Look at this election in that context, everybody. How do you want the men and women of New Hampshire to be defined? How do you want to be known to the rest of the country and to each other? And I will tell you, I don't think New Hampshire wants to be known as just another one of these states who loses their way raising taxes and growing the size of government. New Hampshire doesn't want to be known as one of the kind of states that just thinks government is the answer to every problem. I don't believe New Hampshire wants to be known as a state that's just going to fall in line with all the other failed liberal experiments that have happened, including in my state, across this country. New Hampshire's always been different. You've always led. I heard the word out here before, discerning. And you've always been discerning. Now's the time, 13 days left. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Whether your calendar that you keep to keep track of your time and your appointments is, on one of those iPhones or Galaxies or Droids or one of those things, or whether it's still written on paper in a book, or whether it's up on the wall. I want you to go home after you leave here tonight. And I want you to look at what you've got scheduled in your life for the next 13 days. And I want you to ask yourself, are you willing to give 1 hour a day for the next 13 days to try to change history? Are you willing to give 1 hour a day to try to make sure that New Hampshire doesn't become like one of these other states that have tried these liberal experiments and failed? Are you willing to give 1 hour a day to make sure that Ovid gets the opportunity to lead with principle and character and ingenuity and hard work? If you do that, 1 hour, each of you, a day, whether it's in the football game on Friday night or the soccer game on Saturday afternoon, whether it's in the church parking lot on Sunday or whether it's around the water cooler on Monday, whether it's Tuesday when you're in the supermarket checkout line or next Wednesday when you're at the playground picking your kids up from school. Whenever that moment comes, keep those stickers on, those buttons that I see. Wear them every day for the next 13 days. Because you know what's going to happen? When you're standing there at the football game or the soccer game or the church parking lot, they're going to say, hey, what's with the sticker? Someone will ask you, and you'll say, you know what, I know this guy. I've looked him in the eye, I've taken the measure of his character, and I'm spending my time the next 13 days trying to make sure he becomes our governor. And I would really appreciate you considering giving him your vote. I will tell you, everybody, there's still nothing more powerful in American politics than that. A neighbor, a fellow citizen, looking at another and saying, I've evaluated this person, and I, with all respect, ask you to consider giving your vote to him. More powerful than any 30-second ad, more powerful than any mail in the mailbox, and if you can believe this, more powerful even than a warm, touching, charming, automated telephone call from the governor of New Jersey. Possible to believe, but true. Do it. We do not want to wake up on November 7th thinking to ourselves, damn, I could have worked a little bit harder, I could have done a little bit more, and I could have gotten this guy over the top, and I could have changed the course of history and conquered. You don't want to be thinking that. What you want to be thinking about when you wake up on November 7th is you want to pull that newspaper off the front stoop or from the end of your driveway. You want to boot up that computer and see that news screen that you check in on all the time, or turn on the television set. And what you want to see is Ovid and his family standing in a ballroom somewhere, smiles on their faces. And when you see that, you will know that you were part of a movement. A part of a movement to change the course of history in New Hampshire. Not just a vote, but a part of a movement of citizens coming together and saying, we want better, we want different, we want more. Not just for ourselves, but for our children and grandchildren. Because I look at the faces in this room, and for most of us, we've already lived a great American life. But I see a few young faces in this audience, real young faces, and for them, yeah, you with the great hairband in the back, for them, that great American life is at risk. And that great life in New Hampshire is at risk. See, I know you feel the way I do. I don't want my children, I have 4 between 9 and 19, and I don't want my children to have to read in some history book about what it was like to live in an American century. I want my children and your children to live in a second American century where American greatness and goodness continues to dominate the world. We cannot have that happen if we don't elect the right people to these important jobs. And so I'm imploring you, from a state that's had the experience of doing it the wrong way and now trying to dig out, to say, don't take that path. Take the path of character and strength and toughness. Elect someone who will lead you in a way that will make you proud. And I will tell you, on November 6th, if you do all that, Your next governor is standing right here, Obed Al-Marpet. Thank you all very much.